Welcome to High Heel Talk. Unfiltered, Unscripted, and Unpredictable, where we deliver the high heel topics in an authentic and very friendly manner with our power panel of today. This program is proudly brought to you by MCG Flooring.
Elevating homes one floor at a time. MCG Flooring, where family and quality meet.
Tracy Fryer, welcome back.
Thank you. Thanks, Barbara.
You are the host of the
Real Biz Life Chronicles podcast.
Beautiful.
Yeah.
And also,
And my branding agency is Design Studio Perth.
congratulations.
Thank you.
Donna Stambulish, welcome back, darling.
Hello.
You are clinical psychologist. You are the founder of Recode Me programs. You are the director of a North Perth clinic. Anything I forgot?
Media commentator, mother of two.
Well, that's right. Thank you. Vanessa Verscho, please introduce yourself.
Okay, so I'm a workplace psychologist and a high performance coach. I'm also an author, I'm a speaker and media commentator like Donna, a very proud mother of two.
And Karen Weaver, please introduce yourself.
Hello, Barbara and everyone. I'm an author, publisher, life philosopher, done a few TEDx talks in my time. And I am a very proud mum of 6.
That's right. Well, I just want to ask, what do you do in a free time, girls? Welcome to High Heel Talk. Since we are discussing mostly and exclusively relationships, because everything is about relationships, my first question will be, a topic to discuss, why do we sabotage relationships, even the good ones? And whom do I start with?
I'll go.
Okay.
I think it goes back to those stories that we tell ourselves. And I think sometimes if we feel we're not deserving of something, sometimes we might not even recognize why we're doing it as well. And it goes back to, I think, a lot of our childhood stories, our upbringing that we might have had. So I think without realizing, sometimes we sabotage things because of those stories that we've been, brought up with as such.
Okay. Donna, as a psychologist, I'm sure you're dealing with a lot of sabotaging relationship stories.
Yeah, I think it comes down to a worthiness piece in lots of people. We can really only receive the love that we think that we are worthy of deserving. And so then if we're coming at it from that angle, if we're being anxious in a relationship because we've got that anxious attachment style, then, that's going to play out in our relationships and cause problems. If we're that, if we're that people pleaser, then we're, it's all of our childhood schemas, all of our stories that, that we have from upbringing, that sort of, all come together and, create problems for us.
Yeah. Vanessa.
Yeah, look, I'm going to give a bit of a different angle, and I agree with my beautiful colleagues here because absolutely it's all about self-worth. That's ultimately what it boils down to. There's a very interesting form of sabotage that I see in the world of work, and that is people who are high-performing, very successful, who actually have a morbid fear of failure. So they sabotage so that they are not successful. So there's an interesting one for you. And it happens a lot. They are so afraid of the success that they're dreaming of that they do everything not to achieve it. And I'll leave that one for now. That's a whole other high heel talk, I think.
Of course.
That is absolutely, I've seen this, seen it in myself, Vanessa. Wow. So I'm going to give another alternative perspective. We're all on a journey. We're all learning. We all, react and respond differently to different people, and we all have different relationships, and every one of them is here to serve us, to help us grow, and we can stumble. Self-sabotage is, I think, part of everybody's life, whether you admit it or not. I know I do, quite often. And one of my things that I fail in is time management, and I may have the good intentions to do things, and then, time just eludes me, and then I end up feeling like I'm sabotaging myself or my relationships with others as well. So it's an interesting question, Barbara.
Yes, but if we had to narrow it, sabotage relationships, again, one-on-one relationships, in a love affairs, in a marriage, people almost like shooting their own foot, yeah? If I was to ask you, someone would ask me now, Barbara, summarize it with 2 words. It all comes to fear.
Fear of losing ourselves.
Fear of losing ourselves, fear of not being worthy, fear of repeating patterns, and yet fear doesn't actually exist. Fear doesn't exist unless we build it in our mind. Fear has no gender, no color, no sex. Now imagine if you get a phone call, who is it? Fear. I block it. Why don't we just block it in our minds? And I know it's easier said than done because we all go through this. What advice would you give to viewers watching us now? Thinking, okay, I'm all of it. How do I stop it?
I think a powerful tool for me is journaling. So actually sitting down, carving out that time with myself and just actually reflecting. And also like noticing, so I journal most mornings and noticing patterns of behavior and becoming more self-aware really equips you in how to not do more of that, same behavior that sabotages things for you. So that's become a really great tool for me because you can always go back and have a look, like this is where you were at, now how far you've come. So that's become a bit of a tool that gets stuff from out here onto paper, and there's also a release that happens in that process.
Donna?
Yeah, just before when you were talking about a fear, I kept on thinking about, false evidence appearing real, false evidence, but it also, it sounds so much like anxiety as well. Like when you were describing that, like it can either make us, over function or, under function or just like be completely paralyzed in
That's
that.
right.
So, it is like a constant assessment and it's, in lots of ways it's, but I think it's a fear of essentially losing ourselves in relationships sometimes as well, or more to the point, not actually even knowing who we were in the first instance. So that's why girlfriends are really important, being able to pick up the phone, have that reality, checking in, bounce stuff off other people.
Yes.
So, yeah.
Yes.
I had a very powerful coaching session a couple of years ago with a very successful woman. I almost didn't take her on because when I spoke to her on the phone, she was very abrupt and very rude. But I met her anyway and started working with her and learnt her story, which was she had come from a very turbulent past and her parents had abandoned her. When I got down to the crux of it, what she wanted most in this life was to be seen and be loved. And yet because of her behaviour unknowingly, she was getting further and further away from that thing that she wanted the most because her behaviour said to others, back off, go away, not come to me, I need to be loved. So the work that we did was getting her aware of how her past was shaping her current way of showing up and stopping her from getting the very thing that she was seeking most in her heart and her soul. And that's where we went. So it was a fear of rejection for her.
Incredible.
True story.
Thanks for sharing. And Karen?
That's such a powerful story.
Oh, she's amazing.
Yeah. And we all know those people. We all are those people ourselves where we have stories of where, where we're pushing things away that we're trying to bring to us. And I think that sometimes it's subconsciously and we don't know we're doing it. But whenever we become more self-aware of ourselves and we do the work, I know I lean into gratitude a lot and all of those things that bring nice things into my life. But it gives me more self-awareness as well. So I don't just look at how I do look at how I'm contributing to the relationship. And then just remember people react to you. And I'm sure that lady was pushing, she was so repelling and people were reacting to that, and then to be able to change that for her or for herself.
It's funny how you used the word repelling just now because I watched her walk into a room and sit down with a group of other ladies and 4 of the 10 at the table pushed their chairs away from the table as she walked into the room. So she literally had a repelling instinct simply by how she was showing up in the group.
Yeah.
The
energy.
The energy.
So it's the energy.
It's the energy.
And we can do that in, intimate relationships as well. That's right. And, we mirror or we match people's energies. So I can imagine everyone was matching
That's right.
that energy.
And you also mentioned on analyzing, okay, everybody has to analyze anything time to time or everything, but there is paralysis of analysis. It was one of the guests on my show, on my Hello Darling talk show, that said to me years ago, Barbara, darling, don't overanalyze because then you get paralysis of analysis.
Yeah.
And so true. I personally know people that are analyzing so much that they don't move forward.
Yeah.
And
Yeah. And sometimes it's just not that deep. Like it's not. It's just not that deep.
don't ask why, ask why not, and move on. That's one of my, mottos for life.
That's an interesting one too, and I love the question that you're raising because, I've been criticised publicly and in the media for working with leaders, very public leaders and CEOs, working with the most abrasive leaders globally, and I love it.
Of course.
I love working with abrasive leaders. The reason is exactly what you said.
Yeah.
Firstly, no one else will do it, and I just step in. I love to get in the room with
Yes.
these people. Good, Mo, get going. But the other thing is exactly what you said. It is often the most abrasive and rude and obnoxious people that are struggling and wanting to be loved. And when you can work with them to get to that place, suddenly the impact on the thousands of people that report into them is world-changing.
Incredible.
Because of the impact.
Love is the answer.
Love is the answer.
Vanessa.
Love is all around.
Yes.
But it is.
One of my life heroes, David Attenborough, he said, from working over whatever, almost 100 years, he's almost 100, wonderful, with species of all its kind. All of them want two things, food and partner. Okay. Well, we also want roof over the head, yeah? They mostly live on the
That's
trees.
humans. We're going to make that way more complicated than it needs to be, Barbara, because that's the nature of being human.
Yes.
And our basic need, in relationship and as being a human is to be acknowledged and validated.
Belong and
Yep.
to belong.
And we need to do that for ourselves before we can do that with anyone else.
So it's again,
Yeah.
love me, know me, hello darling, yes, I like you, I can now talk to others, yes? Tracy, anything?
I think I see this with my clients when we try and get them to put themselves out there in terms of social media. So a bit like Vanessa, I work with a lot of elite operators, people who are just so brilliantly skilled, but almost have this fear of stepping out from the shadows and truly embracing the talents God's given them. So they have this fear that's so deep-rooted, and I almost have to somewhat coach them through that, slowly bit by bit, to get them to actually step into the light so they can actually help more people with the skills they've been blessed. So I see it show up a lot there in terms of social media, creating content. I have a brilliant advisor who comes to mind, didn't want to do content, didn't want a brand, didn't want any of it. And just slowly with working with him, we've kind of, brought him out from the shadows, and he's had so much impact. It's been great. So a bit like Vanessa, that's why I love what I do and taking someone on that journey. So,
Wonderful girls, well done. Congratulations. You're changing so many current lives, but we also never know how many future lives you're changing and saving through this, because these are leaders, parents, whoever that would reflect and put, ripple effect on everything they're doing. Another question, almost unavoidable in today's times, why are we so lonely as a humans? We're not today, I'm not lucky. Why people are so lonely, even when they're with other people? Why there is actually a global loneliness epidemic? There are more and more young people lonely than ever were. My first, of course, tip of the day to this question is the tablets, is the social media, is the they are connected with the whole world. Consequently, tied up to the screens 24 hours a day. But now I give you the mic, Tracy.
Well, I'd say, I always want to just speak to that social media has a place, especially if you are a business owner. It's a great platform to, advertise and showcase what you do.
Which we all do.
Yeah, but I think people have almost become, the way we're communicating is changing from social media, from technology. And I think when people do get together and in the physical form, they almost struggle to communicate because it's become this other way where you just tap and like and comments.
And then becomes addictions to the like, to the viewership, yeah? People tapping 100 times an hour to see if they have more viewership.
Yeah.
So we all consumers and victims of it. Donna, you must deal with it on a daily basis.
And people are incredibly lonely at the moment. We're living in such a high-paced world where everything is so fast and there's so much expected of us at any given moment. It's almost impossible. You know, it's almost like our lives in so many ways have become diluted in so many more ways because we just literally, like something's got to give, right? And when you were talking then I was very much thinking about, the generation that we're raising, my kids' age, they don't know how to pick up a phone. They don't know how to do that connection. That sort of stuff. It's just...
I'm nodding so much, my neck gets...
Yeah, for older people as well, like... we're just not that good at keeping relationships, putting that effort and that time that they require. And as a woman who, is so much expected of us all of the time, that's the thing that, suffers the most is my personal friendships and relationships because I'm a cook. I'm a taxi driver, I'm the provider, I'm the CEO, I'm the founder, I'm like all of these things, and it can be extremely isolating. Like it's very isolating. So it takes a lot of hard work to actually keep nurturing those friendships and relationships.
You also nodding.
Oh, I'm listening. I agree with everything everybody already said. I'd say that in business, empathy is the number one differentiator. And, people sometimes say to me, I don't have empathy, I'm an engineer. Well, that's rubbish. As human beings, we all have empathy. We're all capable of deep empathy. But some of us show it better than others. I also would say, and this is probably going to get me voted off the island, people just aren't that deep. They just don't look, honestly. And I struggle with that because I'm somebody obviously who thinks a lot about things. Given what I do for a cracker, I look beyond what people present.
Okay.
But I will tell you right now that I see that rarely.
Okay.
People do not go beyond the veneer of what is presented, and that is a problem. If you do not feel seen as a human being, the loneliness gets exacerbated. And if we add the layer of neurodivergence and neurodiversity, which is coming up more and more now, people showing themselves, that is a whole other realm of sadness and loneliness. And so why I'm committed to building inclusive practices, inclusive workplaces where everybody is celebrated and we are dedicating time to letting people be seen and building that skill set, because if not, I don't know where we're going to go. I don't want to talk to a robot, do you?
Yeah, no.
Or
Yeah.
an AI chatbot?
That's right. No,
No,
but it's,
not me.
It's there.
This is what's happening. People are talking to bots.
Sad.
It's so interesting though, because like in some ways, psychology or clinical psychology is almost like in danger of being taken over by ChatGPT. So many people I have come in, so many patients come in and say, like, it's like or partners complaining about their husbands coming in saying their chatbot is like their new best friend, or they're just going to that for, to get all of their needs
Oh
met.
my gosh, another high talk on AI. If you use too much AI, you lose your own I. I don't mean I mean I. Karen, darling.
It's about sacred space, really, isn't it? Like people can't get deep because they're not feeling safe in that environment to go there. Because people talk about others, they put things on social media, things like that. For me, I don't get a chance. Loneliness is a luxury. I hide in my bathroom for it.
Yeah.
I'm only teasing, no, in all seriousness. Like I have my daughter who feels the depths of loneliness, and loneliness is different than being bored. They know, because I love my kids being bored because then they'll get creative. But whenever they're lonely at a soul level because they don't have a deep connection with someone their own age, or they don't have and they're longing for it, it's really hard to watch that.
But also everything, as we know, is online. Everything is online, and yet we need the personal interaction and community. And I read a couple of months ago that a lot of pubs in Ireland are closing down because everybody is at home and meets online. How sad, because I think it's the best, not even before it becomes therapy, but prevention of therapy, for people to go have a chat, share a story, have a drink and go home.
Part of being human is human connection, though, and you cannot replace that
I
with
think
no
that's
device.
the biggest missing factor, the human connection. That's what we're doing on High Heel Talk. And if AI is thinking of replacing us, hard call. Last question, not last, but another question that is coming to my mind. Do you think that children have a right of judging widowed parents for finding late love and another partner? I was present at the wedding when the widowed wife was told by grown-up children, but your new partner is not coming to the wedding because our dad, who passed away 7 years ago. So my point is, what's the time frame to be even entitled to think this way? Do you have a right as a child to judge your parents, or do you want them to just die in front of TV alone? What's your take on it?
I think, like Karen said, we're all on a journey, and I think sometimes we might not understand someone's journey, whether it's a sibling or a parent. And I think, whilst it's hard if someone's parent has passed away, just to embrace, instead of them being alone down on the couch alone, like if they've met another partner, trying your best to include them, I would say is the way to go. I recently saw John Edwards' Psychic Medium, was incredible, and I just realized life is so freaking short to have like bad animosity, especially in family. There's always a family dynamic, but
Of course.
yeah, I don't think there's a time frame, to each their own, and just let it be. So
Well, maybe 2 weeks after passing.
Oh, of course,
You've
yes,
got a
no.
new boyfriend, say to, yeah.
That's called bad
That's
taste.
right. That's
Yes.
called bad taste, exactly.
the right theory.
No, I don't meet this kind of a situation.
Yeah, all the time. And I always talk to people. Grief is not linear. It doesn't have a time frame, and nor does love. You don't know when you're going to meet the right person. I always just try and really, let people know that love doesn't, love expands, love multiplies. It doesn't, it doesn't take away, what their mum or, what the parent that,
Yeah.
passed away. So I think everyone is different, and yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, this is a really interesting. Firstly, who are these kids? I just want to have a word to them. Like, who are these kids? I always remember something really powerful, a lesson that I learnt once when I was going through training to become a psychologist, and we have to do all the counselling hours. And one of the things that we learnt in psychology, it's called positive unconditional self-regard, and that is the law of legitimacy around someone's feelings. If somebody feels a certain way, you do not have the right to judge that person on how they feel in that moment. It is their experience, it is their life, and it is a legitimate feeling for them. So whatever that is, let them be. And that's a big part, a big message I want to send to the audience. It is not your life. Do not judge that person. And if they are feeling a certain way, then let them be and back the hell off. You do you.
I think that says it all.
Yeah.
Let live is what I.
Yes. Yes.
And for those kids, maybe they need to voice something, get something off their chest. Let them say it in a safe environment, to you rather than others. But just say, I hear you, I honor it, but I'm going. I'm doing this. It's important to me, and if you love me, you will understand.
I
that.
think.
And it's about doing the reframe, right?
Yes.
Reframing it in a way in which honours everyone and honours everyone's own, humanity and humility and, right to actually have a life that's worth living, like a rich,
Absolutely.
full and meaningful life.
So, girls, to the unconditional love, to the golden years, I didn't say golden bachelor, but to the golden years and to the timeless love fundings. Thank you. Thanks, High Heel Talk. Cheers.
Thanks. Cheers.
This program was proudly brought to you by MCG Flooring.